Want to follow in the footsteps of the Oracle of Omaha? Like the idea of making money alongside Warren Buffett? Would you like to know where Buffett is investing billions of dollars right now? Then you have to check out today's video.
He is a best-selling author.
30-year-old Jason Fieber has a plan.
This guy retired at only 33 years old.
I don't know if I know too many people that have accomplished something like that.
He's really kind of a guru when it comes to passive income.
Before I get into today's content, if you want exclusive access to my personal six-figure stock portfolio and alerts on any new investments I make, check out the Patreon link in the description below. Warren Buffett is a personal hero of mine, and I mean that both in terms of life and money. But we're here to talk about money, right? Buffett has posted a 20% compound annual rate of return over the course of more than 50 years. And he's built up a $100+ billion personal fortune in the process. To say that he's been incredibly successful is underselling it. He's arguably the GOAT of investors. And so when Buffett makes a move, the world pays attention. Well, Buffett has been making some big moves recently. He's been betting billions of dollars on one area of the market in particular. Today, I want to tell you about the stocks in one area of the market that Buffett has been recently loading up on. Ready? Let's dig in. The big bet Warren Buffett is making comes down to just one word. That word? Sure, we can expand on it, oil and gas, energy, etc., but it's clear that Buffett believes the price of oil is headed higher, and not just a little higher for a few months, meaningfully higher for an extended period of time. It's certainly an easy bet to make right now. After all, oil went to negative pricing for the first time in history during 2020 after the pandemic caused all kinds of distortions in various aspects of the market and society at large. A barrel of oil was literally worth less than $0 for a temporary period of time about 2 years ago. Now, WTI crude is over $110 a barrel. Oil pricing has explosively gone parabolic. We're near multi-year highs here. A variety of circumstances, including self-inflicted injuries, have heaped this upon society. I can tell you that I've personally been invested in the energy space for more than a decade now, and I've witnessed a lot of vitriol being thrown the way of the traditional energy complex. Companies across oil and gas have been villainized. Deserved? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it's been politicized to the point of real-world consequences, including capital outflows and underinvestment in traditional energy supply in favor of renewables. Management teams at major energy companies have heard the criticism loud and clear. They have really clamped down of late, becoming far more efficient and focused with capital because of uncertainty regarding the ROI of projects that are both large in scope and long in duration. Capital expenditures have come down over the last decade at many of the super majors, despite the world growing larger and arguably needing more traditional energy supply. This leads to a constraint in oil and gas supply. That's coincided with demand suddenly spiking from a post-pandemic reopening of the global economy. Adding in war between Russia and Ukraine only exacerbates the structural imbalance, as Russia has historically been a major supplier to the world's energy market. Society got religion. A lot of people have suddenly remembered that the world still largely runs on oil and gas. And now the political and market posturing has become, shall we say, less hostile toward traditional energy companies. But what does this have to do with Buffett and oil pricing? Well, quite a bit. See, the problems that have led to high pricing in oil are deep-seated and unlikely to be rectified quickly. You can't just suddenly flood the market with supply that doesn't exist. Buffett likely sees three massive advantages that major energy companies have right now. Here's the crux of the matter. An advantageous trifecta is suddenly present in the industry. In my opinion, Buffett sees something similar to what I'm seeing, and it's why he's all over oil and gas right now. 1, we have high prices that cannot be cured quickly. Like I said, the current state of the entire energy complex has been years in the making. It doesn't unwind in a matter of months. Sustained high pricing leads to higher sales, profits, and dividends across the entire sector. 2, we have an environment that is far more favorable to these companies. The current paradigm is simply more conducive to doing business. There's suddenly more capital, political and otherwise. It's goodwill that hasn't been around in years. 3, we have more focused operations that prioritize shareholder returns over growth at all costs. You might say that being stymied has been a boon to these companies and their shareholders. If it's all systems go, it's easy to be wasteful with capital. Instead, these companies have been forced to cut back on capex, be ultra efficient with projects, and return capital to shareholders in the form of buybacks and dividends. We all know that Buffett loves buybacks and dividends. I'm sure Buffett has done the math on this, and he's jumping in with both feet. Through the $300 billion common stock portfolio he oversees at his conglomerate Berkshire Hathaway, Buffett has significantly increased his exposure to traditional energy this year, and he's primarily expressed that bet through 2 specific stocks: Chevron Corporation, stock ticker CVX, and Occidental Petroleum Corporation, stock ticker OXY. Both are major traditional energy companies focused on hydrocarbon exploration and production. Buffett is betting billions of dollars on oil and gas right now. Indeed, Berkshire Hathaway increased its stake in Chevron alone to more than 159 million shares during Q1 2022. That's up from 38.2 million shares at the end of Q4 2021. So we're talking a quadrupling of the bet on Chevron in only 1 quarter. This is massive, even by Buffett's lofty standards. The Chevron position alone is worth over $27 billion. Berkshire Hathaway's bet on Occidental, which comes in at over 143 million shares, is worth almost $10 billion as I speak. Taken together, these 2 investments alone have a combined market value of over $37 billion here. Combined, we're looking at one of the largest capital commitments Berkshire Hathaway has made in the entire common stock portfolio. Warren Buffett is betting big on oil right now, and I think he's making a good call. Like I said earlier, these companies are operating within the most favorable environment I've seen in my 10 plus years of investing. Conditions have done a complete 180 from the low prices, excessive spending, and hostility only a few years ago to the high prices, disciplined spending, and goodwill in 2022. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. Look, I get it. The world wants to eventually move to renewables. We need to eventually move to renewables. I mean, there's a finite supply of hydrocarbons on Earth. But you know, when people are paying $6 a gallon for gas in California, and when people are having trouble heating their homes in Germany, reality hits. And the reality is that the world still largely runs on hydrocarbons. Should you follow Buffett into big oil? Well, that's up to you. We covered Buffett starting to load up on Chevron last year when the shares were selling for under $120 each. It wouldn't have been a bad idea to follow him back then, as Chevron shares are now selling for over $170 each. Both Chevron and Occidental shares have gone on huge runs this year, but neither looks terribly expensive. Plus, the entire industry is looking at structural advantages, which should result in higher valuations than what was permitted before. It might not be a bad idea to follow Buffett once again. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give us a like if you did, and let us know in the comments what you think about the area of the market Warren Buffett is betting billions of dollars on. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. Also, take a look at the description box below for some important links, including the link to my personal stock portfolio. This 6-figure portfolio, which I call the Fire Fund, generates enough passive dividend income for me to live off of. It allowed me to retire in my early 30s. I've made my portfolio entirely accessible over a Patreon, and I also post alerts there whenever I buy or sell a stock. I put my money where my mouth is, and I'm often invested in the same high quality dividend growth stocks that I make videos on. Over the years, I've heard from thousands of investors who have been profiting from many of the same exact stocks that I own. So if you think this is something that you could benefit from as well, check the link in the description to see my portfolio and start getting my buy and sell alerts. I'll see you next time.